This 53-year-old wife divorced her husband and is now on TikTok crying because of the consequences. Welcome to the Coffee Pod. My name is Chisha Zed.
It was day 4 of commuting as a divorced gal. I forget that commuting is like really tiring. It felt really different to commute back and forth to the city and not to come home to my big house that I used to live in and to come home to my small apartment.
That's what happens when you break your family up.
Or I used to get into my car and drive home to my house, and my husband would be there, and my son. And now it's my plants. I'm complaining, but it's like, ma'am, this is. What did you think? Like you ended your 24-year marriage.
Right.
You sold your 5-bedroom house. You sold your dream to try a whole new life, and I'm fully in that whole new life now. And even though I've been in it now for a couple of years, renting my apartment, it's still not adjusted. I thought it would feel more natural by now. And I guess I'm getting there. And when am I going to get there? Why aren't I there yet? So like tonight, for example, 3 of my best friends are coming over, and it's different entertaining an apartment versus your house.
Right.
Like, I don't have all my shit anymore. I used to have like cabinets where I would keep all of my napkins. Like I had napkins in every color and all the plates and all the silverware and all. Now I'm like, I don't know where anything is anymore. And I don't even own those things anymore. Now I barely have matching glasses. Like when you get divorced, you split up all your shit, right? And then you have to go through stuff and you're like, oh, I don't need this. And the platters that I have, I don't use. My refrigerator is just filled up with like flavored seltzer now. But I know my friends don't care, but it's just like it's different. It changes the whole experience. I want to have everything like nice and pretty and I don't know, perfect for them. And they're showing up to just imperfections on imperfections, and they've been over before. I have to just go with the flow, right? I have to just not care about those things now because I know they don't matter, but I'm not going to lie. Like it was really nice to be able to have people over and just to have everything like beautiful and perfect and matching and being able to go and sit outside in my backyard. Or now I don't have that. Now my kitchen is my living room and my living room is my kitchen.
Listen, the amount of complaining videos I've done in the past of women being like, oh, I thought the grass would be greener. Turns out it's not. They're so similar. It's like there's a script that is followed. And I'll continue to be shocked about how after every example that women have seen who leave marriages in search for happiness, they've seen that like life's not just about happiness. A search for happiness is a fruitless mission. The grass is never greener. It's work on both sides. Here she is 2 years later.
It's just room. I'll make it work. But I would be lying if I didn't say that something about this week that's making it really hard. And girl, you gave it up. Happy now? And I know nobody's saying that to me, right? Nobody's saying that to me except me. So maybe I need to stop saying that to me. Like, yeah,
Right.
I did give it up. And I gave it up for lots of good reasons. And I put a lot of thought and care. And I did not make a frivolous, knee-jerk decision. When you make a decision to end your marriage and to end your fairy tale, there are consequences. And some of that is that things won't be perfect and beautiful and exactly as they were. They'll be different.
Were they ever perfect and beautiful? Like, listen to this chick. Were they ever perfect and beautiful? Because if they were perfect and beautiful, then you wouldn't have left. There is no perfect. But I get it.
I would not drink bean juice.
You don't drink bean juice.
You have to make like an educated guess that, okay, I understand that it's going to be different, but I'm still making that choice. But you have no way of knowing how it's going to be until you're in it. So now I'm in it. So I'm going upstairs now. Try to make it cute with my mismatched shit, my mismatched glasses, and it'll be fine, right? Yay. I miss my backyard. The first week that I am commuting into the city as an apartment dweller, not as a homeowner, not as a married woman, not as a woman with a kid at home. I lived in the city for a long time, but when I got married a million years ago, we moved out to the suburbs right outside of New York City and bought a house. And I lived in that house for 22 years. I got divorced and I moved out and I've been living in an apartment. So I've been working remotely, and now the company that I work for has opened up a New York City office.
Okay. I want to really ask you guys a serious question right now. Two people, husband, wife, get divorced, right? Wife goes on with her life to chase happiness. Husband also decides, you know what? I need to make the best out of this. A few years later, wife is still talking about the marriage, not just amongst friends and family, but is on TikTok posting consistent videos about how she misses the life she used to have, and still on the topic of marriage and how difficult it was. And the husband is just somewhere sipping his coffee, moved on. Who in that situation seems like they're in a better state of mind? And I may be wrong here. He may actually have an account of his own. We don't know. I'm sure she would tell us if he did. Right? He may be uploading pictures of him crying and such. But I watch these videos and it's clear that you're not over the marriage quite yet. But something tells me that your husband is remarried. And most definitely it was easier for him to do it. We know men's sexual market value doesn't tank to the level that women's does following divorce. But I'm curious, guys, comment down below.
Divorce is really hard. I thought I could talk about this. I didn't realize how raw it was. And I did not expect having a New York City office that I'm commuting into to stir up all of these feelings. I thought I was so past this. I moved out 2 years ago. And I'm not. I had a whole wall in our house of like family portraits.
She's still dreaming about the house she used to have 2 years later. And I'm not saying men don't sometimes think about that, but we're the plethora of men uploading crying videos post-divorce, right? Well, Chisha, that's because society doesn't give men the same type of spaces to express their emotions. That might be a part of it. I also think another part of it is they're not doing as bad as the chicks who are chasing happiness.
And not in like a corny, horrible way, like in a cool way. Like I had great pictures. And, you know, I only kept the ones of my son, right? And this is one of them. And it's, wait, let me give you a better version. My son, when he was 8, probably. And we were decorating for Christmas. And I remember how lonely I would feel every Christmas. But then I look at this picture. I'm like, oh, that was our mirror. And I remember when we bought it. I remember when we bought those sofas. Or when we installed those light fixtures. I remember the painting that was right above them. Like the stuff in the background.
She has a caption there that says, I don't care about the mirror. It's the artifacts of a life built together, but you left.
Like you put together a life with someone, right? And you think you're going to be with them forever. And that's your plan. And you go into it fully, earnestly, thinking you're going to be with them forever. And then you're not. I took that of my son on a vacation. I think I was still trying, but unhappy, but trying. It's sad. No one gets married thinking they're going to get divorced. You know, right? What is it? Half of all marriages, or like how many marriages actually end in divorce? Like so many, right?
She's right about that.
So it's almost like rare that you want to be with someone forever. So if you have that, like, oh, it's so fucking awesome. If you don't have it and you're fighting for it, and that you just can't get there, and then it ends, and then it just feels so awful. I'm like, I'm the one who ended it.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
This was my choice. I have this, in my apartment. This is all my stuff. This is my choice.
Yeah, she's drinking that black coffee.
You don't expect it to hurt 2 years later.
Very sad. Very sad. Contrary to what some people may think, I am able to empathize to an extent with the lies that is spewed and believed. But regardless, she made her bed. So here's some comments from her post from men who are looking at this and being like, okay, so these are the results of your decisions. This commenter says, my ex-wife chose to leave. Years later, after I remarried, she said leaving was one of her biggest mistakes and that I was a great husband and father. Thankfully, we're still friends and co-parent successfully. I always wish her nothing but happiness, peace, and good things in her life. So here's another guy. He's watching this and he's like, man, that's terrible, because it reminded him of someone who he still wishes the best for, because he understands that she's miserable, that she thought the grass would be greener. The dating market out here is horrible. It's horrible. It is horrible. Most of these men out here have nothing for you but pipe and trauma. This is a fact. And the women, the trauma is the same thing, except without the, trauma too. It's horrendous. Next commenter here says, get a cat. Somebody else here added, it's a common fallacy to believe there's always something better. Life doesn't give you do-overs. Good luck and best wishes. Here's somebody else who says, I downsized after my divorce and it was what I wanted to do even before I decided to divorce. But it's been a big adjustment going from mini mansion to one floor rancher. You will get there, with the exclamation mark. She responded to some of these comments, particularly the ones that the men left. This is what she had to say.
I posted a TikTok this week, 2 of them, about ending my marriage. I shared it because it was an experience I was going through. And I also thought there's probably a lot of people that can relate to being married for a long time and ending it and all of the resultant feelings and emotions. I'm at a country-themed party. I bought this yesterday at Urban Outfitters. That's not the point. Thought I had finally reached divorce talk, but I think I've reached angry men talk. But people have been amazingly supportive, and I think
coffee talk. Drink the coffee.
Drink the coffee, it'll make you feel better.
that we're on to something. It's really hard to not read the negative comments because I think I've also uncovered a lot of hate, and I think it's struck a nerve. Their responses have struck a nerve with me. So, let's talk about it. I was married for 24 years. I got married when I was 27. I was the one who initiated the divorce, but it ended amicably. My ex and I are still very good friends. A lot of men are pissed. A lot of men are really mad.
That's even worse, right? Because what they're hoping you're going to say is that it was horrible. And, because you're not going to be friends with someone who's abusing you left and right. No, this seems like somebody who she was just like, oh, not happy.
And the comments were, wow, he put up with that for 24 years and grass isn't always greener, and just really eviscerating me. They're pissed. If enough people had that reaction, there must be something there and something for me to think about. I also tried really hard. I did everything imaginable, everything that you can think of, all the things. I was a great, great, great wife. That I didn't just leave a great man. That's not what happened here. I ended a marriage with a wonderful man who was not for me anymore. And for all of you guys that are saying all these mean things to me, what would the alternative have been? Suck it up and be happy? Like if I could have been happy in my marriage, I would have stayed in that in a heartbeat. If we should not have been together anymore.
The simple question here is, are you happy now? And the question people should ask themselves before getting married is your goal to be happy? Marriage comes with challenges. Like dating life comes with challenges. Like your work life comes with challenges.
Because what I want to do is share my experience with other women and other men who are going through the same experience where you've been with someone and you entered it with intention and love. I think there's a whole bunch of us who are going through similar stuff where we're either divorced, we're thinking about being divorced, we're on the other side of it, whatever it is. I think there's this whole community of people have either been married and ended our marriages or are on the cusp of it. And it's really gut-wrenching. I wouldn't wish divorce on anyone. And
Neither would I.
I would say that if there's a way to work it out, try. And just know that I tried everything. If your friend told you, I'm really, really, really deeply unhappy and I've tried therapy and I've tried couples therapy and I've tried this and I've tried that and I've given it time and I've had the conversations and I've had another conversation and I've talked to my family and I've talked to my friends and I've done all the things and I'm still deeply unhappy, what would you tell that friend?
I would tell them, something like 86% of people who divorce get remarried. I would tell them the next relationship that you get into, let that person know, and I'm talking about marriage here, that it's not till death do you part. Have conversations about everything, cheating included, right? Have an understanding of like this I can put up with, this I can't. If I am unhappy within that relationship, then I will leave. And let that person know what you define as happiness. Is happiness seeing your children happy and that they're healthy and everyone's taken care of? Or is it that you just wake up one day and you're just not feeling it? That your significant other isn't your best friend and your significant other can't entertain you enough to make you happy. It's no one's responsibility to make anyone happy. And no person should be going out of their way to make someone miserable. But that goes without saying.
What did you want me to do? That's my question. What did you want me to do? So I'm going to keep talking about it, but not if everybody's really mean to me, because if people are really mean to me, I'm not going to talk about it anymore. And I do have a lot of thoughts, and I think there's a lot of things that I can help people with, and people can help me with, and there's like a community here. And this is something I think is important to talk about, but like, stop.
So what it sounds like is she got on a public platform, TikTok, with millions of users, decided to put her opinion and her life out into the public. And because people had different opinions based on her situation, she decided she doesn't want to deal with it, talk about it. I understand social media is not for anybody. I think people just post stuff without thinking about how it will affect them mentally or anything like that, right? But that's a part of being online. And if you can't understand that people are going to disagree with you and you don't know how to handle that, I think that says a lot about that individual as a person. Also, man, just keep your stuff off the internet, your personal stuff. That's my advice. Guys, listen, as always, I'm curious to know. Leave your comments down below. Till next time, I'm out. Peace.